you Xbots do realize these upcoming Xbox devices aren't really Xbox consoles, right? Hold on, guys. I think we're starting to see the walls and we're starting to see, the facade crack. Now, here's the thing. When Xbox launches this so-called OEM handheld device, it is going to be an Xbox handheld. Now, it's not an Xbox console, but nobody was thinking that it is an Xbox console. Obviously, a console is a much bigger device, limited portability, but the handhelds actually can accomplish that. I don't think you're, in my opinion, anyways, bothered about what we're talking about. You just want to dial into the old console war theme. Also, even if Xbox made one, they branded it Xbox and then they put Windows on it, and then you could still play PlayStation games, it would be an Xbox playing PlayStation games. But in all reality, though, you gotta realize that nobody really cares anymore about these PlayStation games, seeing as anyone who's on Xbox is already getting a solid proposition. There was a little, graphic yesterday that Clobrio put. And if you see that particular graphic, you'll realize that whether you're on Xbox console, maybe some future handheld, maybe you're on some cloud system or whatever, you have the best value proposition in gaming, and it doesn't matter about these PlayStation games anymore. Yes, I played them. I have a PlayStation. I can tell you, but once they're one and done, that's it. In fact, I didn't even finish Spider-Man 2 because I had the luxury to say, I don't like the story of this game. The mechanics are great, but from somebody who looks at the Spider-Man lore, I can't imagine that anybody would think that this is a solid Spider-Man experience compared to the first Spider-Man game. And since then, I have not looked back. In fact, I wiped my PlayStation, deleted all my save files, and I'm not bothered. I will not go back and play and finish Marvel Spider-Man 2, even though I'm almost at the end. Because there are games to play. As somebody who has a gaming PC, I can always dial into what Xbox is doing. Look at this. They have Revenge of the Savage Planet. This is a 6-month outlook put by Clobril on Twitter, and it's shown pretty much in the 6-month package. This is what Xbox gamers are going to have access to. In the case of those with Game Pass, they have access to pretty much all of this. And somebody is over here trying to worry about this Xbox device is not an Xbox console because they can play Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy of Thieves on it. Come on. If anything, I remember how the PlayStation fan base heavily criticized Uncharted 4 for not necessarily representing Nathan Drake in a solid way. Am I wrong? There's a Dutch YouTuber, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. I think it's Robin Gaming or so. I'll go back and look at it, who had a very strong criticism as somebody who was a Naughty Dog fan. I mean, are you trying to tell me somehow that Insomniac, where the fans had told Brian Intihar and said, man, you putting Mary Jane front and center of this game doesn't really do service to the other superheroes and anti-heroes that are in the game to do stuff like Silver Sable and stuff. And he said, screw it, make her OP, regardless of what the fans had actually requested. It is these games that are relegated to the hands of maybe 4, possibly 5 creatives in a plethora and a pool of other creatives who are willing to serve fans that people are going to be worried about. You have to understand that these so-called PlayStation exclusives, they're going to be dwindling down more and more, as you see, because they're expensive to make, and PlayStation doesn't have access to free Call of Duty Superior version to make, 800 million and then go fund these games, and then they're going to be coming out with long intervals behind them. I mean, look at the comparison. What is PlayStation doing right now that can compare to what Xbox is doing in terms of its own subscription service? What is it doing in terms of first-party games that can be compared to what Xbox is doing? So even though you want to come in with this particular mindset, you got to tone it down a little bit. But I'll read the rest of this comment because I think it's very interesting. They said, let's say you can play PlayStation games on them. Of course you will be able to. If you have a Windows machine, you can play PlayStation games on them. Let me go ahead and show you what that's going to look like. I mean, I'm sure some of you are probably wondering, even on a Linux machine, like a Steam, machine of some sort, you can go ahead and access Spider-Man games. Like in this particular, library here that I have Miles Morales and Spider-Man. And this is all under the Steam banner. Sure, they're PlayStation games, but they can be played on any machine that has access to a Windows OS attached to it. You said, what makes that any different from the ROG or Steam Deck playing them? Nothing. That's exactly the point. At the end, the game trailers, do you even see the Steam Deck or ROG Ally? No. You see PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Epic, Nintendo Switch, or Steam. Dude, all of this stuff is very interesting because All they're putting out there are just platforms. How you access the platforms don't make any difference. It's like asking if you see an iPad in there, whereas we know that you can play these and access these Xbox games via cloud on these kinds of devices. Now, you said you wouldn't whatever see an Xbox handheld is called. Seeing Steam's logo would determine what you play on that thing, LOL. PlayStation will be fine because those upcoming Xbox devices will not be considered traditional consoles. Nobody cares what they're considered. It's how PlayStation fans always have caveats to basically make themselves feel warm on the inside. 1 minute Death Stranding is not a PlayStation game anymore. The next minute Death Stranding 2 is a PlayStation game. They keep hopping left and right whenever they find out that some particular categorization that they've argued themselves into is about to collapse on their head. And so you see the PlayStation fan, it's not categorically traditional. It's not the game that the MLB forced them to do, but the Lego is. But they just keep throwing all this stuff out there. Like, dude, relax, breathe. The console war is dead. Uber super dead. Like, there's no reason for you to be worrying about who can play games here or there. Even if it worries you, you have access to Xbox games wherever you are. You can pick up your tablet. Soon, you'll be able to pick up your phone and stream those games and get a taste of that. If your PlayStation console is doing so great, why is it worried about some particular OEM device gaining access as what the OEM device is categorized on? You're already here saying it's not a W. No one said it's a W. You're the one that's just scared. This is fear talking. All it is that just another Asus ROG on the market. It'll be lucky to even sell 1 million units in 3 years because those PC handhelds sell like crap, LMAO. See, this is why they roast these PlayStation fans. Somebody logged in their Twitter this morning, was Deadly Hadley, and said, anybody else with me? Because anytime I log into my PlayStation 5 console, all I think about are the other 75 million people that are also using this particular box. Because it's a dud. It's a third-party machine playing Fortnite and everything else. What inherent value can you actually point to that the PlayStation console affords anybody who owns one, other than the darn thing gathering dust? Nothing. If they bought them, or if they went ahead and bought those consoles for said exclusives, they've probably already beaten those exclusives and their PlayStations are sitting there. They've gone back to whatever platform that they preferred if they basically came from it. This is why you're seeing that now that more and more of these developers and studios are punching out more games, PlayStation games are fading more and more into irrelevance. Go look at the financial, statements that came out last quarter for PlayStation. Think about why people would buy more PlayStation consoles, yet PlayStation software would drop by not just a few, but a few million units compared to the previous year, which had another exclusive launch, an exclusive of which they've basically gone ahead to port to PC. And the reason PlayStation's units sold were even where they were at the dropped 4.6 million pace is because of a game that they made multi-platform. Can you imagine trying to tout exclusivity in this market reality when PC is literally carrying those so-called PlayStation exclusives at the end of the day, and then thinking this is not a W for Xbox, blah, blah, blah? Look at your house first. Ensure that your house is clean before you start to drag or attempt to drag another platform. Because this is so weird at the end of the day that y'all glorify and worship this exclusivity thing like it's some kind of a standard out there. It ain't. It's a waste of everybody's time. And people are starting to realize it. In fact, on PlayStation, nobody would have known, were the data not something that came out, that PlayStation and Xbox gamers were busy all playing live service games, even validating the whole concept of Game Pass much more. Because for somebody to leave their live service $70 every year or $200, maybe they go ahead and spend that much on some live service game. Some spend in the Hoyoverse, some spend it in the Fortnite verse, some spend it in the Call of Duty verse. It's very hard to peel that money out of their hands. But something like Game Pass, it's a small fee. All these games, and I think it's starting to basically catch more traction now. Because, guess what? There's no offering like it out there for gamers in a market where there are many games. Go ahead and enjoy your gaming where you choose to enjoy your gaming. Where somebody else is playing a game, not really a problem for you if you already have access to the game. If exclusivity makes your console feel more valuable to you, sure, But in reality, once you bought that console, like every other electronic device, it's already lost inherent value at the end of the day. And I don't see PlayStation giving this kind of value because even they themselves understood that they could not pull it off. Talk to me in the comment section, folks. Appreciate y'all for listening to the video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.